get out the vote. Now I'm going to try a little something new tonight, and I know a lot of y'all can't see the screen. I apologize for that. But I want you to try something if you're out in this area. Now, I know all y'all got smartphones. Pull them out and scan the QR code that's up on the screen. If you cannot see it, I'm going to give you a second to do this. Go on your browser to sendsteps.me. Okay, go to that website. Sendsteps, it's one word, .me. We got anybody there? Sendsteps.me. And then you enter this code, FREE, F-R-E-E, 5667 3259. 5667 3259. All right? And now I call bingo. All right? All right, we're going to play just a quick game here to see what you know, and then we'll get into the presentation. All right, here we go. It should come up on your phone. We're getting ready. I'm going to give somebody a prize. I'm going to have to mail it to them if I forgot to bring it. All right. Gain the advantage, the power of early voting. All right, let's see who can score some points here. How can early voting provide conservatives with a strategic advantage in the 24 United States election? A, early voting is only available to conservative voters. B, early voting allows conservatives to skip the voting process entirely. Or early voting helps conservatives mobilize and get out the vote early, benefiting our candidates. That keep guys on your paper. Come on now. All right. See how we did there? All right. In what ways does early voting help conservatives in the 24 election mobilize their base? By limiting the voting options for conservative supporters? By reducing voter turnout among conservative demographics? By allowing conservatives to target voters over, this is the last one, over a bigger piece of time and giving us more time to get out our vote. All right, I think I got one more. What is the potential benefit of early voting for conservatives? Increased voter turnout among conservative supporters? Delaying the voting process for conservative voters? Providing an advantage to liberal candidates? 77% said A. The winner is, who I got? I got a bunch of winners for sure. Jay Posh.
That's me.
There you go. All right, my man.
Jay Posh is my nickname.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So, you kind of know where we're going tonight. Elections are changing, folks. A lot of things have changed in the last 2 cycles that have completely changed how we do American politics. Don't you think about the left? They don't campaign anymore. Biden's in his basement. You know, they didn't show up to do debates. What they do is chase ballots. There's only one point to have an election. In our case, it is to win. And if you take nothing away from what I say tonight, this is what you need to know. It does matter when our people vote. And voting early helps our candidates. And however you decide to vote in North Carolina, your vote is going to be accurately counted and it is going to be accepted. You can feel secure. We have a great system. Where are my 2 that are on the Board of Elections here? Am I right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely right, aren't we?
Ask those impartial people.
But politics isn't about comfortable. You know, the former president kind of scared people off a little bit on this, but he's changed a lot on this. Now, y'all know how big this election is. It's already a major battleground for the presidential race. From what I can see, the Biden people may think that Georgia's already gone, and they got to go somewhere. So they're coming here. As you know, we're likely to pick up 3 congressional seats. If we can get one down east, we can get 4. And but what if you're sitting around here thinking, I thought we didn't want to vote early. Early voting in North Carolina is safe and secure, and you need to know that. One of the problems that we have is that a lot of our voters, they watch Fox or Newsmax, and they see all kinds of shenanigans that happen in other states. For example, ballot harvesting. Do we know what ballot harvesting is? Okay? And these terms matter. Ballot harvesting is the third-party collection of mail ballots. Okay? That is illegal in North Carolina. You can go to jail for that. Okay? And we have tight standards. The former president has changed his mind on this. He has told Republican voters recently, we must defeat the left at their own game, or our country will never recover from the disastrous, crooked Biden administration. Now let's remember something. When you do win the game, you get to change the rules. And our guys in North Carolina have done a good job with this. I want you to think about some of the things that they have done recently. Now we're in court over this, but we have passed a law saying the state and local election boards have to be evenly divided between the parties. I think we'll eventually win that case, and it's an important case. If you want to know how the left cheats, anybody want to know? Want me to tell you? Yeah. Or may keep it a surprise? Okay, here's how the left cheats. They don't stuff ballot boxes. They don't change voting counters. They don't do that. What they do is they manipulate the rules. And they do it right in front of them. It's not a secret. That's what they did in 2020 when they moved the ballot deadline a couple of weeks and removed signature requirements. Republicans sued on that. They got some of it blocked. That's the big important change of trying to have equally divided election board. One big change we made is that if you do vote by mail, and I highly encourage it, you do have to have your ballot in by election day. But if you go ahead now, and I'm going to show you, you can go on the Board of Elections portal. You can request your absentee ballot. You can even, I see Kelly back there. You can request a mail ballot now if you're in the 13th for that runoff. Or we have a couple of statewide runoffs where Mr. Bullock is running and some other folks. You can do it there. But, after that, you can start requesting for the fall, and they will mail you your ballot around Labor Day. Okay? We've done some other things. As you know, we have voter ID now in place. We have blocked Zuck Bucks. And we have really incredible, I took this slide out because it got a lot of words on it. But we have really incredible auditing procedures. When we get our votes in, and Keith could talk a little more about that. The first thing we do is we make sure there are no numbers transposed. We do sample audits of certain machines. And when we had 2 statewide recounts over the past number of years, one was Paul Newby's in the Supreme Court race in 2000. The other was the auditor's race in 2016. The difference when they recounted all the votes in the state of North Carolina, 5 million votes, five vote difference, 5 vote difference. That's how good our procedures are in North Carolina. Now, I want to tell you that in 2022, early voting increased 13% from 2018, the last comparable election. As you can see, 38% of early voters were Democrats, 31 GOP, 30 unaffiliated. Okay? 2022, Ted Budd got way beat in mail votes, okay, and that's a change because Donald Trump won mail voting in 2016. Why do I bring that up? And I'm going to show you why that's important. Well, in 2020, and we had a pandemic going on, 83% of voters did not vote on election day. Like a whole bunch of our voters did. Do I have any precinct officials here? Okay, so y'all know how the precinct officials work. They go in on the last couple of days after early voting, and they're trying to figure out who hadn't voted yet, and they're trying to turn them out. Our issue has been that we still have so many voters to turn out, it's hard to get to them. Right? Now, I got 3 people over here. I'm going to step right here and try not to break my neck. I got these 3 good-looking gentlemen right here. All right? And they are rock-rib conservatives. And they all vote R all the way down the ballot. They even write in extra R's. Okay? You know. Well, my guy right here, he requested a mail ballot, and he voted by mail. And this fine gentleman, Charlie here, he voted on the first day of election. Judge Shirley, he's stubborn. And he waits till 7:10 p.m. on election day. Now, I just told you that all of them voted for the same candidates. So, therefore, we know their vote counts the same. But it doesn't cost the same. To the state parties, to the candidates, to the conservative outside groups, his ballot only costs $3 or $4. His costs $15 to turn out. This guy's might be $50. Early voting advantages your candidates in major ways. All I got my candidates here, out here, Kelly, everybody. Every campaign works the same. Has since Lincoln days. You go out, you find your best supporters, you get them to vote, and you keep working down the list. When you get at the end, one thing, you can raise more money, you can do a lot of things in campaigns, but you never get time back. And so when you get at the end and you still have this huge list of good voters that haven't voted, you're spending a lot of time, and what you're not doing is getting to these new Hispanics that are coming to the conservative movement, to new African Americans, to young people. By the way, if you're a mother or a grandmother in here and you got a 25 to 30-year-old son or grandson that doesn't have a wife yet, but they're conservative, you've got to get them to vote early, because those are the ones that aren't showing up. They go hunting or something, you know what I mean? Which I'm all in favor of. But, and the other thing is, we need more time to get to our low propensity voters. And this is not a huge thing, but the media reports, they don't report on voting totals like for each race, but they'll say this many Republicans have voted early in North Carolina, this many Democrats, and it's used to engage enthusiasm in a way that can be beneficial to us or harmful to us. Let's get past that. There are a lot of, don't assume people know the rules, right? Anybody in North Carolina can vote by mail for any reason or no reason. We have 17 days of early voting. One thing I want to point out is I think the General Assembly did great things in improving our voting system. But there's a couple things they're not changing. They're not changing that people can vote by mail if they want to. And they can't change 17 days of early voting. That's what it's going to be. And we either accept it and we play by the rules to win, or we're at a disadvantage. Easy thing to do if you go on the Board of Elections website, and Sandy's going to do this for me here at the next meeting. She's going to have a laptop right there, so everybody comes in, they can request a ballot right when they walk in. And you can do that at your church. You can do it a lot of places. You can do it at Peak Fest, July 4th. But you just get on the website, people fill it out right there. You can pass a tablet around here. Yeah, and then what happens is, I request mine. These fine people here at the Board of Elections send me an automated phone call or text letting me know they received my request. And when the appropriate time comes, they let me know my ballot is coming. And after I mail it back, they let me know they got it. And by the way, if you really want to vote against somebody, just remember, they start counting those votes. They count these votes first on election night. So your vote, you can vote early and you can have it counted early. What we need to do as groups is we need to identify people, we need to target it, we need to go after them, get them to request early voting, information. We're going to have a website available that shows everybody where to go. But what I would say to you, you know what, I was getting ready to make a joke about soil and water commission. You know, because people will all, but my point is, how many times do y'all people in this room get a call? What judge am I supposed to vote for? Who's that on soil and water I'm supposed to vote for? They come to you. What's that judge's name who doesn't vote when he's supposed to? Just kidding. I know you don't work hard. You're a good guy. They believe in you. You're leaders. Your voice counts. So lead by example. Vote yourself. Vote early. Make a point to go with somebody. Vote by mail. We all remember being in the old days. Remember the old 72-hour program? Right? Well, that went away when we had 17 days of early voting. So we got at least 25 days to try to get out and vote. The thing is, when we make advantage of mail voting and early in-person voting, we are stretching our time to get out the vote from a month to 5 or 6 months. And we need every bit of it. There's going to be more money wasted in this election than you've ever seen in your life. Like, people don't already know everything they could possibly know about the two candidates for President of the United States. Turnout is the game. Turnout is the only game. And sometimes you have to ask people a couple times, but if you say it, you believe in it, and you do it. Look, I was a former ED of a party. You think I don't want my vote to count? I can promise you I do. The left begins chasing their votes early. Big early voting totals can help conservatives win. Our candidates have been starting weeks later bringing their vote to the ballot box. Again, the point of an election is to win. Basic rules on absentee voting by mail. You can print off the form and mail it in. The easiest thing to do is go online. You can request for your spouse. You turn it in at the Board of Elections, but you can't be handling people's ballots that you're not blood related to. I got this timeline up here to show you that, you know, we're now past January and February, but in the spring, this is the time we start calling people. You know, get them to request it. Then those ballots go out 60 days. And remember, candidates, campaigns, parties, they get the list to know who's taken off. That's also a good way to stop the mail and phone call. And so what we really want at the end of the day is to get the election day voting list down to something that is manageable, where we can be going after new voters and other folks. The Declaration states that just powers are derived of the consent of the governed. The Declaration, nor does the Constitution say how that consent is to be secured. With the current temperature and the way things are going, we have to adapt or we will die. And we have to try to secure victory by all legal means. All right, I've got just a couple of minutes. I always get tough questions, and I'm ready for them. So what do you got? Anybody? Yes, sir?
Voter rolls. How do we make sure our voter rolls are clean?
So we have a pretty good system in North Carolina where I think we purge after the presidential race every year, and then we do it every 2 years. And if you put on my other hat at the Locke Foundation, we have a registration tracker, and we follow tracking terms, and like right after the presidential election, you see like huge drops in the voter registration numbers because that's where we remove deceased and dead voters. I think we have a pretty good system. Yes, sir.
I have in my neighborhood, I don't know how many houses. A lot of them are rentals, a lot of them are resales. We have many. We have many people in my subdivision who, many properties, I should say, who have 3 or 4, let's call them generations of residents still listed on the rules. You can, also the owners of the properties, including where it's a rental, who don't even live in the state, they're also on the rules. Who do I notify? Where? To get this looked at?
And the only thing I can tell you is you have to contact the state board of elections. But of course, we want to make sure if they're not eligible, they're not voting, being on the rolls, you know. I mean, look, it's a tough process, but I think we have it about as good as it can be. Anything else? Get way in the back.
I'm coming.
There are close to 200,000 people with dementia in the state of North Carolina. Most of those people are older. They've probably been registered voters for long periods of time, decades perhaps. They're not going to be showing up to vote. Nobody's checking. It's probably easy if you can get a list of these people because they're going to be in nursing care. They're going to be on some sort of healthcare list that people can nefariously get hold of that if they're in government. How do you stop that?
So, we do have pretty stringent rules in North Carolina about people that are in convalescent homes, and you have to be on what's known as a multi-party, nonpartisan assistance team to go into those places and assist people with voting. And here's what I remind you. Yeah.
What makes you think they ever showed up for nursing?
I'm sorry?
What makes you think the ballots were filled out in some warehouse?
What makes you think the ballots weren't filled out in some warehouse?
Well, here's the thing about cheating and voting. Okay? If somebody's going to do it, they have to do it on a scale that matters.
Right.
Right? And I don't believe that would be possible.
Did you see the movie 2000 Mules?
I have, but here's what I'm getting at. We have different rules and procedures in North Carolina. I'm not going to tell you they don't do that in California. I suspect they do. But I think we have a pretty good system here. And the thing is, we will always be able to find something we don't like. But that doesn't mean your vote doesn't count. Right? That there is never going to be a perfect system. But I'm just going to tell you this, if you remember nothing I say, remember this. It is a losing game for conservatives to not believe in the system. And we should improve it, and we have, but this is the system we have. And they've made the changes they're going to make. So we have to make the best of it to get our votes out to win.
I think it's a bit naive to think that they can't break the system.
You mentioned we have a very good system in North Carolina. But what do you think, but we unfortunately don't live alone, it's 50 states. So what do you think about states like, the purple states like Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania? Because if we do not enable to secure that state too, we will never have a Republican president or Republican majority in the Senate.
So, look, I'm going to be different here. I think we have to win by a little more than them. But I don't think that if we get enough votes and we're the party in the majority, they can stop us. Now, the other thing is I think maybe in the long term there needs to be a federal lawsuit based on equal protection about third-party collection ballots in Arizona and California. But I'm not an expert in every state. Yes, sir.
Tell me if this has been taken care of. Last November 2020, I received 7 absentee ballots in the mail and didn't request any of them.
Okay, so I think you probably didn't actually receive a ballot. I think what you either somebody had a wrong address, but what you might have gotten is an absentee ballot request. And the parties do that, my organization will do that. We send them unsolicited to people that we would like to try to get to vote early. I mean, if 7 ballots are coming to your house that weren't requested, you need to be calling the Board of Elections and probably law enforcement. Yes, sir.
Going back to the question the gentleman in the back had about the ballot security, isn't it true you need to have your social security number to request a ballot?
The last 4 digits of your social, and you now have to have an ID submitted with your absentee ballot. So actually, this is funny. I do this job. Guess whose ballot got flagged and held up? Mine and my wife. Because you the one that called me? Yeah, it was just a copy. It was just a copy of the ID not being very good. Now I think we need to improve that system so somebody can upload their ID from their phone, but that's something the legislature's going to fix at some point. Yes, ma'am.
I'm used to voting absentee ballot in the state that I came from,
Mhm.
right before the election, you always get an absentee ballot, and
And it's very easy. Here, I try to do it, but I see every election you have to request an absentee ballot. And would it be easier if you just give it out
Well,
right
it
now?
might be easier, but it ain't a good idea.
It's not a good idea, okay.
And you can request. Yeah, I mean, that's what we refer to as a permanent absentee bailing list, and that really is how you get ballots sent to what he's talking about.
Okay.
And that kind of thing. I'm going to take one more because we've got a lot of great candidates that want to talk. Maybe not. Listen, thank y'all very much. This is a wonderful club. Y'all got huge races out here. Scott's race is huge, right? We've got up in the northern part of the Wake County, we've got some House and Senate seats. We've got some important county commission. Well, we've got 2 really good members, people running in the 13th Congressional District, and one's going to make a great congressperson. You know, and y'all, if you're in that district, you get to decide who it is. But we have a good system, and we have to use it to the max to get our people out so that we can then turn out enough people to win in November. Thank you for your time very much.